Hi and welcome to the last of our lockdown classes. This is your 45-minute Vinyasa Flow. You don't need any equipment for this one, just maybe a water bottle so that you can take regular sips as we go through the practice. So slip into something comfy, hop on your mat, and we're going to start lying on our back this week. So make your way gently, slowly, steadily onto your back. You can extend your legs, or if you prefer, bend your knees. Give the hips a little tuck and tilt so that the lower back feels comfortable on your mat. Extend your arms, palms up. Give the shoulders a little wriggle so they have space. And close your eyes. Take a big breath, fill your lungs, and let it go. So just find a way to be super comfy on your mat. Any itches that you need to scratch, clothing that you need to adjust, or wriggles that you need to take, do all of that. And close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or just soften the gaze, and then allow the body to soften. As we start checking in through the body, see how you're feeling today, scan through any joints, any muscles. Maybe you're taking a little bit of movement as you do that, just to see how your body is feeling today. And if anything is feeling a little bit off, make sure that you move gently, slowly, and adjust the postures if you need to. Take softer options or rest whenever you feel you need to do that. I have got some rest factored in anyway, so we can have regular breaks for water. But if you need more, then please take them. Don't feel as if you have to wait for me. Now start to feel the sensation of your chest rising and falling with your breath. So the inflate of the lungs on your breath in and the deflation of your breath out. And then just fall into a lovely natural rhythm, your own breathing rate and depth. And we're going to see if we can keep that natural rhythm as we move through the practice. Watch out for any twists or rotations that might cause you to hold your breath, or any poses where you're concentrating really deeply or squeezing the muscles that it doesn't cause you to hold your breath as well. I'll check in with you and remind you to breathe. Remember that there are options available to adjust postures, to take different versions if you need to, and if you choose one on the right side, try and repeat that on the left, so that we stay balanced. If your legs were extended, slowly start to bend the knees, bringing the soles of the feet to your mat, gently walking your heels towards your hips. You might feel the position of the hips and the lower back adjust as you do that. When you're ready, lift your feet, bring your knees to your chest, grab a hold of the tops of the knees, and draw the knees right the way in towards you. You might feel your hips lift a little, lower back press against the floor. Just give yourself a reassuring hug. It's going to be okay. Squeeze the knees to you. And then soften the grip that you have. You may feel the knees rebound off the chest. And we're going to take knee circles, but let the knees mirror each other. So from this position, you can draw the knees wide, either side of the chest. Slowly let them drift away from you. The feet can come back towards the floor. Bring the knees back together and squeeze them in towards your chest. Let's take two more. Knees wide. Send them away, use your hands to guide you. Bring the knees back together and in towards the chest. One more time, less work for the hands, more work for the knees. So you may soften the pressure of your hands on your knees and let the legs do a little bit more. Great, let's reverse it, go the opposite way. So send the knees away but keep them close. When your feet come to the ground, separate the knees, bring them wide and back in towards the chest and back in together. Two more. Knees away, open them, bring them back, squeeze them together. One last time. Knees away, let them come wide, bring them back in, and squeeze. Good. Wrap your hands around the knees again, give them a pull in towards the chest. With the breath in, lift head, neck, and shoulders so you're looking towards your knees, curling into a tiny little ball, and then breathe out to relax the head back down. Keep hold of your right knee, extend the left leg, unless you know your hamstrings are particularly tight, in which case you can keep the left knee a little bent with the foot on the floor, or if you can, extend the whole of the left leg. Now start to release your right knee as the leg straightens, toes come up towards the ceiling, and then you're softly going to cradle the back of the leg with your hands, or if you can reach up towards the calf or the ankle. And you should feel a hamstring stretch through the back of the leg as you pull it towards your body. Keep the lower back firm, keep the hips both stable and steady, and then gently release. Swap the legs around. So remember, if you know the hamstring is tight, bend the right knee a little, place the foot on the floor. If you can, extend it all the way. Left knee in towards the chest. Before you straighten the leg, let go of the grip that you have on top of the knee, take it behind the thigh. Leg straightens and you gently pull it towards you. If you can reach the calf or the ankle, great, you can take those variations too. Work with what's best for your body. Both hip bones on the ground though. And then we'll release this leg. Bring it back in towards the chest, the right leg too, in towards your chest. Slide the hands behind the knees, and we're just going to rock gently forwards and backwards, nice and slowly to begin with. And then as you start to straighten your legs a little bit more overhead, you'll rock onto the shoulders and straighten the legs away from you. You'll start to rock up to seated. One more, and we're up. Lovely. Now you can either cross your ankles or roll over your ankles and come to tabletop, or if you prefer, sweep your legs around to the side before you shuffle your knees underneath your hips and find yourself on all fours. Draw the belly button in and up so the lower back is firm and flat, and we'll take a few rounds of cat and cow. Firstly, take a breath in, let the belly drop. Lift your tailbone, lift your head, loop back your shoulders, look ahead of you. And with the breath out, drop your head down, push through the shoulders, tuck your tailbone underneath. 2 more times. Breathe in, the belly lowers, the shoulders loop back, the chest and head rise, the tailbone lifts. And breathe out, the head lowers, the shoulders lift, the whole of the back body stretches, and the tailbone tucks. One last time, breathe out, or breathe in, sorry, make it a bit bigger. Feel the stretch through the front of your body, and breathe out. Round the body, lift through the shoulders. Good. Neutral tabletop again. Extend your right leg behind you, tuck your toes, push the ball of the foot in towards the mat. And as you find your balance, extend your left arm, the opposite arm, and if and when you're ready, elevate your right leg. Point your toes, extend, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, bring the elbow to your knee underneath you. And 2 more. Reach, breathe in, and squeeze, breathe out. One last time. Reach ahead and squeeze. All right, perfect. Hold the bend that you have in your elbow and your knee. Send your right knee wide, send your left elbow high out towards the side. Elevate a little higher. 3, 2, 1. Down to the mat. Well done. If you need to shake off your right wrist, you can, but we're about to lift it in a moment. Find tabletop again. Left leg back. Tuck the toes. Let the ball of the foot find the mat. Opposite hand, right hand reaches forward. Find your balance, and when you're ready, lift your left foot as well. Breathe in, extend, point your toes. Breathe out, elbow to knee. Bring it underneath you. Reach ahead of you as you breathe in. And reach back, pull the elbow to the knee. One more round with movement. Reach ahead, inhale. Reach forward, squeeze, exhale. Keep the bend in the elbow and the knee. Send your left knee wide. Send your right elbow high. Pause. A little higher if you can. 3, 2, and 1. Limbs down. Well done. Push yourself back into a child's pose. Reach ahead. Come off the wrists. Relax the shoulders. You can roll out the wrist if that feels good. Stretch up onto the pads of the fingers. And then peel the hand back towards you. Perfect. Rise yourself up into tabletop again, but take a little reach forward with your hands. Tuck your toes, push the ground away, lift your hips, and then drop the heels back and down for downward facing dog. We're going to bend one knee as we drop the opposite one down, and then swap and keep swapping. So you should feel a little stretch through the hamstrings, the back of the thigh, maybe the back of the hip, all the way down through the back of the knee, all the way down through the lower leg, and all the way down into the back of the ankle. And then we'll pause. Both feet on the ground, aiming to lower the ankles, but it's okay if the heels don't touch. Legs straight or bent if you need to. Long arms, relax the chest down. Look towards your toes, give the head a little shake. Big breath in and then release, breath out. Next time you inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you. Try and keep the hips square to begin with, so watch out for the right hip lifting. Keep the big toe pointing down towards the ground. And then you're going to bring your knee to your nose, lift up high through the body, up on your left toes, pause for a second, and then step through your right foot between your hands, lower the hips, long back body. If you know balance is a challenge, step your right foot a little wider and dig in with your toes. Otherwise, we'll take a breath in, lift the hands up and reach for high lunge. So we're sending the fingertips to the sky, the shoulders over the hips, squeeze the lower belly in, scoop the tailbone underneath you. Your back leg can be bent if you need to, but you're lifting up high on the toes with the hips square to the front edge of the mat. Next time you breathe out, lower your left heel, open the hip, turn the chest, and send your arms long into Warrior Two. If you're feeling strong, keep a big bend through your right knee. If you need to be a bit softer, come on up out of it. So find a depth that works for you. But your chest is lifted, your shoulders are back, you're drawing your little fingers behind you, and you're going to look over your right fingertips to the front of your mat. Pause here for a breath, push into the outside blade of your left foot, and then we'll gently cartwheel the hands down, framing the foot with our hands, pivot onto your back toes, and step back to plank. Let the knees drop down, soften your toes, tuck your elbows, and breathe out to lower, down to the mat. Once you're here, start to push the ground away. Your hands are just underneath your chest. You can have your elbows bent for baby cobra or arms straighter for cobra pose. A little bit of a lift in the chin, elbows tucked tight to your body. Engaging the back body though, feel like you're pulling your hip bones in towards the mat. And then as you breathe out, we'll lower gently down. Tuck your toes, let the knees bend as you lift away from the ground. Then straighten your legs, lift the hips, and drop the heels back. We'll take another little walk, bending one knee, dropping into the opposite heel, and swap. One more each side, swap, and swap. And then we'll pause. Feet hip distance apart, long arms pushing the ground away. Take a breath in, fill up, and a breath out, drop down. Next inhale, we'll see the left leg lift up and back, hips square, so your big toe is pointing down towards the ground. Watch out for the hips rolling open, try and roll the left one down. Bring the knee in towards your nose, lift up high through the back of the body, onto your right toes, pause, and then step through when you're ready, bending the left knee, stretching out the back of the body. And again, if balance is a challenge, step your feet a little wider so you can dig in with your toes. Otherwise, reach and rise, fingertips lift, delivery next door. Relax the shoulders as you extend your arms up. Draw your right hip forward, feel like you're pulling back on your left heel. That's it, lovely. Then as you breathe out, lower your right heel down, turn the hip, turn the shoulders, and extend your arms. Send the little fingers behind you as you lift your chest. Generous bend in the left knee if the strength is with you, or lift up and out if you need to. This is Warrior Two. All right, so we finish by looking over our left hand. We're going to cartwheel the hands down gently, step them either side of your foot, pivot on your back toe, step back to plank. Good, soften, knees down, toes down, elbows bend, breathe out and lower. Landing lightly, hands under the chest, breathe in to lift. Baby cobra with the elbows bent, or cobra pose like we had before with the arms straighter. Just check that you're not sinking between your shoulders. Try and use the whole of the upper body to lift you from the mat. Breathe out and lower. Take it down. Tuck the toes, let the knees bend. Push away from the ground. Lift the hips up. Step the feet back. And downward facing dog. If you need a break for a sip of water or just to gather your thoughts or catch your breath, now's a great time to take it. So for the second round of our flow, we're going to add a pose to the end and slightly tweak the beginning. But otherwise, high lunge and Warrior Two will be the same. If you took a break, come back and find downward facing dog again. And the next time you breathe in, lift the right leg up and back. And this time hold it up a second longer. Take a little bend through the knee before seeing if you can lift your right toes a little higher, but squeeze your knee into center. So you might feel a deeper stretch in your left hamstring. Right knee to chest, lift up high, step your foot between your hands, bend the right knee, hips lower, and breathe in to lift. High lunge. On your out breath, turn sideways, warrior two. Whoa, try not to fall over. Long arms as we find the pose. Yikes. All right, we're looking over the right hand. This time, breathe in, reach forward, flip the palm up, and then lift it up and over into reverse warrior. So the right knee is still bent, your back leg is straight, your right elbow is high, so you should feel a stretch through the right side of the body. Your left hand can land on your hip, your thigh, or your lower leg, wherever it's comfortable. Just watch that you're not dropping into the shoulder or propping yourself up on the arm. Keep it soft so the side of the body is working. Good, well done. Stay here for another breath. Feel the elbow stretch high. And then we'll come back to warrior two. Up and over with the arms. Look over the right hand again. Lower it down. Left hand, cartwheels. Landing each side of your foot. Pivot on the back toes and step back to plank. As an option now, you can release the knees like we did before, or keep the legs straight. If you're on your toes, rock forward, breathe out, and lower. Let your chest and your hips find the mat at the same time before you send your toes away, and then curl up. Breathe in, baby cobra or cobra pose. Slight extension of the chin, elbows tucked, active in the shoulders, and breathe out. Bring it down. Good, tuck the toes. Another option for you, you can push away with the knees bent, like we did before, or legs stronger and straighter, up through plank. Then the hips come up, the heels drop back, and we're in downward facing dog again. Take a quick breath here. And then the left leg on your inhale rises up. Hold it up a moment longer. Little bend through the knee. Send the toes towards the ceiling and squeeze your knee into center. Feel that enhanced stretch in your right hamstring. Active left glute and hamstring though. And then knee to chest. Lift up high, look between your hands. Step forward and through. Left knee bends, hips lower. And reach and rise. Take it up for high lunge. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you turn to the right for warrior two. Relaxing the shoulders. Let's prepare for reverse warrior. Reach forward, breathe in, flip the palm up. Lower the right hand, lift the left, and take a sideways lean over the back leg. The left elbow is high, you're turning your chest slightly towards the ceiling. Softness in your right hand. Remember your options, hip, thigh, or lower leg. And the bend still through the left knee. One more breath, lift the elbow, and then come upright. Warrior two. Reach forward, reach down. Right hand up and over. Pivot on your back toes and step back to plank. Remember, you can release to the knees if you need to, or stay on your toes. If you're on your toes, rock forward, bend the elbows, and lower. Land lightly. Breathe in and lift. Shine your chest forward, squeeze the elbows in towards your ribs. That's it. And breathe out to lower. Plank or tabletop with the knees straight or bent as we push away from the ground before the hips come up. The heels drop back and we find ourselves in downward facing dog again and ready for round three. If you need another water break, take it, or pause to gather your thoughts or catch your breath, or just adjust any clothing. Otherwise, hold your downward facing dog, catch your breath, drop your heels, send your fingertips away, and if you took a break, come back and find this position again. One last round for the flow. So the next time we breathe in, the right leg lifts up and back. We're going to hold it up longer this time. Bend the right knee generously, bring the heel all the way back to your hips, and then turn the right knee higher and wider so the hips start to open. But then send your left shoulder away from your left toes, almost looking towards the left toes. That might help to square your shoulders up. So the hips are open, shoulders are square. Let's squeeze the right knee in towards your chest, ripple forward through plank. Lift up through the body, step your foot between your hands, right knee bends, start to look forward, reach and lift for high lunge. Breathing in as you go. They will turn sideways. Breathe out, warrior two. Generous bend in the right knee, long arms, relax the shoulders. Reach forward, breathe in, flip your palm up and lift up and over, side bend into reverse warrior. So turning your chest towards the ceiling if that feels good. You can look up if that's comfortable, or sideways on, or down towards the ground if that's better for balance. One more breath here. Then lift up and over into warrior two. Good. Take your right hand, turn it towards the ceiling again, and bring your elbow just on top of your knee, lower half of the thigh. Left hand is going to be an extension of the rest of your body. This is extended side angle. But check that you're not dropping into your right shoulder. Push the elbow into the knee, try and lift the body up, and then stretch through your fingertips so you've got a long line all the way down the left side of your body and into the foot. You can stay here. This is a really great foundation. But if you're looking for a little more, specifically flexibility, you can lower your right hand down on the inside of the leg. So the outside of the shoulder comes to the inside of the knee. But you'll notice the hips need to bend a little more, as do the knee. Or if you're looking for strength, instead of having your elbow on your knee, lift it. Maybe even stretch it alongside your right. Don't forget to breathe. Wherever you are, one more breath. And then you're slowly going to turn your chest over your knee, land the hands either side of your foot, pivot on your back toes, and step back to plank. Take a little walk, especially if the front leg is feeling a little stiff. And then one more journey down for this side to our tummies. But this time, if you're staying on your toes, rock forward. If you're on your knees or your toes, lower down. See if you can catch where your elbows touch your ribs. Hold it. And then flip your toes, push the ground away. And we lift to upward facing dog. You can, of course, bring your hips and your knees back to the ground if that feels better for cobra pose or even baby cobra. And from upward facing dog, we can lift the hips up, push into the tops of the feet, roll over the toes when you're ready, and then drop the heels down. Great job. Let's pause here for a breath. Big inhale, and a steady exhale. All right, let's do that on the left side. So next breath in, left leg lifts. Hold it here a moment longer. Big bend in the knee, bring the heel all the way back to your body, then send your left knee high and wide, let the hips open. Lastly, your right shoulder away from your right toes. Look at your right little toe as you lift your left knee high and wide. And then bring the left knee to your chest, come through plank, and step forward and through. Bend the left knee, let the hips lower, look ahead of you, reach up, breathe in, high lunge. Breathe out, turn sideways, warrior two. Long arms, relaxed shoulders. Excellent. Look over your left hand, reach in, breathe forward. Let's try that again. Breathe in, reach forward, flip your palm, lower your right hand, lift your left. The elbow and shoulder is high, turning up to look on the inside of the elbow if that feels good. One more breath here. And then we come upright again, warrior two. Turn your left palm to the ceiling one more time. Bring your elbow to the top of the knee. Extend your right arm up and over. So there's a diagonal line through the right side of your body. Take an extra reach with the right arm as you lift your left ear away from your elbow and shoulder. So you've got that lovely extra bit of strength and stretch work going on. Quick reminder of your options. You can stay here. This is awesome. Or if you prefer, lower your left hand. So you're bringing the outside of the shoulder to the inside of the knee. Hips lower, knee bends, more stretch going on, especially for the groin on the left side. Or if you're working on strength, instead of the elbow landing on the knee, you're going to hover it, the body does a bit more work, or even extended. So this is even stronger. Wherever you are, just take one more breath before you turn your chest to your knee. Bring your hands down, lift your back heel, and step back to plank. Good. Remember, knees or toes, you have a choice. If you're on your toes, rock forward, and as you breathe out, see if you can lower, catch your elbows by your ribs before you flip your feet, and lift. Push the ground away, upward facing dog, a little higher. More front body stretch, slightly more back bend, and then push into the tops of the feet, lift the hips, flip your toes, drop the heels down, and pause. Downward facing dog. Let's hold this here for a couple of breaths. You can stay perfectly still or lift your toes, lift your heels, lift your hips as you breathe in, and then push back and down. One more. Inhale, lift or stay still. And exhale, drop back. Good. Bring your knees all the way down to the mat. You can keep them close or send them wider. Big toes touching, hips back, reach forward, lower the chest, and pause, child's pose. Take a little rock side to side of the chest, between the knees or on the knees. See if your chest can come down towards the ground or on top of the knees, allowing the upper body to relax. Take the pressure out of your hands. Maybe you bring a bit of movement to the wrists. Send your elbows wide if it feels more comfortable for your shoulders. Close your eyes for a moment and just breathe. Good. Another breath in. And a slightly slower breath out. Brilliant. Lift your body up. Sit back in this kneeling position. If you haven't yet had a drink of water, grab it now. Roll out the shoulders. Gently tilt your head side to side. Rehydrate. And then we get ready for the second third of our practice. So, what did I say? Final third already. So we've got a little bit of work through strength and stretch. We're not going to be working on as long a sequence, so you don't have to worry about remembering too many poses this time. Some of the muscles are going to be challenged in the flexibility sense, and others will be challenged in a slightly stronger sense. But remember, there's always options for you, whether you're taking variations of poses, sorry, there's a noisy car outside, or if you need to rest. So you can do both of those. Okay, so we'll start with a forward fold. So from your kneeling position, place your hands onto your mat to assist with balance. Come off the legs, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and then just take a little walk forward towards your hands. Lifting the body up when you need to, bending the knees when you need to, and then relaxing your fingertips and hands towards the floor. But know that it's okay. If the hands can't touch, just grab a hold of the elbows. Let the weight of the body then pull you down gently to stretch into your hamstrings. Positioning for your feet is about hip distance apart or a little narrower. You may notice the more narrow you stand, the tighter it feels for your hamstrings. So just be aware of the difference between the two. If you want to be a little kinder then, step a little wider and soften the knee bend. The body is likely to be able to come a little lower, so you have some choices. Now give the head a little shake, left to right, and a nod forwards and backwards, and let the whole weight of the upper body melt down as you relax, as you fold forward from the hips over the thighs. So if the hands are touching the ground, that's cool. If they don't, cradle the elbows and breathe. Lovely. All right, now if your feet were hip distance apart, walk them in a little closer. So now your big toes are touching. Keep a little gap between your ankles. We'll come up for a halfway lift. Inhale, flat in the back, tuck the elbows, send the crown of the head forward, the tailbone back and behind you. Slight tuck of the chin so you feel like the back of the neck is extended. Imagine that there's a tray of drinks balanced on your back. So if your back is arching, the drinks are going to fall. If the back is rounding, the drinks are going to fall. But equally, all the way up into the head, if your head is lifted or dropped down too low, there's not going to be enough stability for that tray of drinks. All right, breathe out, lower yourself all the way down. Take a big bend in your knees so that your belly rests on your thighs. So it can be as big a bend as you need it to be. And then with your arms, either wrap them around the back of the knees or bring your forearms to your calves, or perhaps you're holding onto your ankles, whatever comes most naturally for you. And I want you to give yourself a really big squeeze. So glue the belly onto your legs and then think about lifting your hips back up. Naturally your legs will straighten, but imagine it's the hips that's lifting more than anything else. Dig your toes into the mat to assist with balance. Well done. And then try and keep your body as close to your legs as possible as you loosen your grip and slowly rise to standing. So keep looking, stay as close as you can. So we're bringing as much curvature to the spine as feels comfortable, slowly lifting. Eventually the legs will start to straighten, the hips will start to extend, you'll unravel all the way up the back. Lastly, loop back on your shoulders and stand tall for mountain pose. Squeezing inner thighs, knees and ankles tight together, drawing the belly button in and lengthening the tailbone down to your mat. So you should feel left to right, front to back. Anchor down through your feet, lift up high through the crown of the head and long arms, palms forward, little fingers touching your thighs. Hold here for a second. See what happens when you close your eyes. Does it affect your balance? Maybe you sway a little left to right. It's interesting what happens when you remove one of your senses. If you can keep your eyes closed, do that, but if you feel more comfortable having them open, that's fine. We'll take a breath in, lift the fingertips up, all the way overhead, up high. And then you're going to keep your hips exactly where they are. Right hand forward, left hand back, so we turn the shoulders. You might feel like you're pulling your left hip forward as well. Little stretch through the chest, especially on the left side. Good. Release the hands down, take a breath in, lift again. Hips stay exactly where they are. Left hand forward, right hand back. Let the shoulders open. Feel like you're pulling forward on your right hip and you get that stretch through the right shoulder and chest. Breathe out, release. Inhale again, extend the fingertips up. This time move the hips naturally. Right hand forward, left hand back. So if the hips move with the shoulders, that's fine. Anchor your feet. Send your fingertips far away from each other. Good. Relax, breathe out. Face the front. One more time, breathe in, lift. Left hand forward, right hand back as the shoulders rotate. Let the hips rotate as well, but anchor through your feet, long through the fingertips. And breathe out, relax. Face the front. One last round of lifting the arms all the way up. And as you breathe out, start to look down. Bend your elbows, bend your knees, look to the ground. Bend, 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 bend. Bending at the hips too. And we'll slowly lower into our forward fold. Fantastic. Now that we've warmed up the body with a bit of a twist, let's find chair pose. So sit back into an imaginary chair, lift your fingertips when you're ready, and send them ahead of you. Weight into your heels as your hips come back, and your arms are either straight ahead of you or slightly elevated. Just watch that the tailbone doesn't escape behind you. Lower it towards the ground. Let's take a twist. Bring your hands to the center of the chest. Thumbs pull into the breastbone and take your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Glue your knees in together. Watch out for them shifting if I exaggerate. Glue the knees in together. Once your elbow is on the knee, bring the hands back to the center of the chest. Lift your left elbow, lift your left shoulder and turn to the side. Good, well done. Check in with the knees again. Watch that they haven't shifted because the hips will shift too. We want to keep them glued in. Perfect, one more breath. And release. Reach up, breathe in, chair pose again. Okay, good. Hands to the center of the chest. This time left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Look down, create that little engagement. Knees glued together, and then bring your hands back to the center of the chest, lifting right shoulder, right elbow. Check in again with the knees real quick, and then come back to your twist. Sink the hips down if that feels good. Keep breathing. And release. Well done. Soften. Reach up and ahead. Pause here for a second. 3, 2, 1. Hands down. Walk your feet to the outside edges of your mat. Turn your toes out and your heels in. And sit yourself down. If it feels comfortable to, bring the hips all the way down. You can move a little bit side to side. And when your balance allows, bring your hips under your shoulders, shoulders on top of your hips, elbows on the inside of the knees, hands to the center of the chest for your yogi squat. Now it's a fairly upright position, you'll see. If you need to rise up out of it, that's fine. You can extend the knees a little bit, stand a bit taller. If it's comfortable for you to sit all the way down, great. And also know that it's okay if your heels lift in this position too. If you're all the way down, let's work a little harder and lift. That's it, good. Imagine you're trying to peel your knees apart, squeezing your glutes to do that. Stay tall, breathe, breathe, breathe. 3, 2, 1, bring your hands to the mat. Lifting your hips up just for a moment before you step back, one at a time, into plank. Now imagine there's a fire underneath you and we want to lift up and away so we don't get burnt. Good. Pivot your feet so the right outside edge, left inside edge comes to the mat. Right hip down, left hip up. And when you're ready, left arm up. Now we've still got that fire underneath us, So try and lift up and away. That's it, good. Breathe. If balance allows, you can look up to your left hand. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly reach down, roll into plank. Imagine that fire again, lift up and away. We're going to rotate to the other side. So left outside edge, right inside edge of the feet come to the ground. Right hip up, right shoulder up, and reach. Push away from the ground, lift the hips and shoulders up. Looking towards your right hand if that feels comfortable. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly rotate down into plank. One last time, lift up and away. 3, 2, 1, and gently come to the ground. Knees down, release the toes onto your tummy. Long legs, and then slide your hands up and underneath your chest, elbows under the shoulders, lift, extend the chin, pause here just for a breath, and then slide your elbows wide. You're going to reach your hands alongside your hips, glue your inner thighs, knees and ankles together. You can rest your cheek on the mat, or if you prefer, forehead, that's fine. So cheek or forehead. We're going to point the toes, tighten the glutes, tighten the quads, start to float the feet up off the floor. Good, feet on their own, the rest of the body on the ground. Keep squeezing center, in and out. Yes, and gently soften. Lovely. This time, keep the toes on the ground for now. Take a breath in, use the muscles in your back to lift your head, your chest, and your ribs up off the ground. So you might feel like you're resting on the upper part of the tummy or the lower part of the ribs. Maybe you've walked your fingertips away from here to help with this movement. Maybe you can roll your shoulders back and float your arms up off the ground as well. Last option is to bring the feet back in, rise them up gently, gently. Think about not just lifting high, but lengthening. So crown of the head and the toes. One more breath. And down, release. Good, well done. From here, slight lift of the body. You're going to bring your right elbow underneath your shoulder. Turn your left hip up. Now, if you need to adjust the positioning of your forearm, anywhere from perpendicular with the long edge of the mat to horizontal, you can do that. Parallel to perpendicular, should I say? You can do that. All right, we're going to stagger the feet again. So this time it's the left inside edge of the foot, the right outside edge of the foot. If you need to, you can completely bend your bottom knee as well. With a breath in, we'll lift, side plank. Extend, left arm, and up and overhead. Good, well done. Now if you want an extra challenge, float your left leg up and off the ground. Good, well done. Breathe in, stretch. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly down. From your forearm plank, rotate through center, then onto the outside edge of your left foot, inside edge of your right, come through side plank. Lift your right hand up and then extend. Hips up high. Remember, you can bend your bottom knee if you need to. And for that extra challenge, right foot lifts. Good, well done. Long through the body. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly rotate back to your plank. Parallel forearms. Release the hips down. Release the toes. Lift up through the chest. Extend the chin. Take a breath in. And out. Take your arms behind you. So we did locust pose earlier. This one we were lifting up and back. And if that was working for you, take that version again. Otherwise, a slightly different pose is to bend the knees so that you can grab your ankles or your feet. Now, if they're out of range, don't worry, you can use locust again. This time, instead of pushing your feet into the mat, you're going to push your feet into the hands. We're going to glue the inner thighs in together again. Take a breath in. Lift the body first, then let the arms start to lengthen before you push your feet in towards your hands and the knees and legs hover as well. Good, well done. Let the shoulders surrender. Don't forget to breathe. Slight extension of the chin. 3, 2, and 1. Release. Well done. Let go of the feet if you took that version. Send them away from you. Bend the knees. Bring the crown of the head to the mat so you're lifting the back of the body. Nice and close towards your knees. Shuffle your knees close together. Grab a hold of your feet and then lift your spine towards the ceiling. So this should give you a nice stretch out after the back strength work. Ease it down, hands to the mat, lifting up, and in whatever manner feels comfortable for you, you're going to sweep your legs ahead of you. Position yourself so that you're in the center of your mat though. And then slowly, steadily, guide yourself down. Use your hands, use your forearms, your elbows, and eventually you'll come to lie on your back. Bring both knees up and towards your chest. Take a little rock, side to side, left to right. Make the movement a little bit bigger so you start to lean all the way onto one upper arm and the other. And the next time you come to the right, keep leaning, keep leaning, keep leaning. Let the shoulders move with you like you can come to lie on your side in little fetus position, and then your lower legs come to the mat. Good. Once you're here, open out your opposite shoulder, stretch the hand away from you. You can look towards that hand, and then your right hand is maybe on your knees or on your hips to guide into the twist. So the hips have rotated with the knees, and the shoulders have opened back up to the mat. Think about slowing the breathing a little bit if that feels natural for you. Easing into your twist. And then use your hands and your upper arm to guide your knees back up over your chest. Let's rock again, left to right, side to side. Starting gently and then gaining a bit of momentum as you lean onto your upper arm. And the next time you rotate all the way over to the left. So let your weight slowly transition. Use your hands, guide your knees down, come into this little fetus position just for a moment before you open out the opposite shoulder. Reach away from your legs, coming into the twist. Left hand on the knee, on the hips if that helps, as you reach your right hand away. Maybe you think about closing your eyes now as well as slowing the breathing. Easing into your twist. Good. Using your hands, guide your knees back up and over. Squeeze them into the chest one final time. Readjust on your mat if you need to. Squeeze tight, hug the knees. You can lift your head, neck and shoulders to come into this little ball again. And then gently release the upper body. Soften the grip on your knees. Bring your feet to the mat. And then slowly walk them away. Stepping away until your legs straighten. Once they're extended, give the legs a little shake left to right. And then let the weight of the feet turn them out to the sides as you shuffle your hips, shuffle your shoulders, and bring your palms back alongside your hips facing up. You can maybe give your head a little rock left to right before finding some stillness. Gently lift the chin and feel the joints and muscles start to relax. Do a little scan through your body from your toes. Encourage them to ease out any tension through the feet, the ankles, the muscles in your lower leg, your knees, the muscles in the upper part of the leg, and your hips. Let the belly soften, the torso relaxes. Gentle rise and fall of your chest. Feel the shoulders soften. Relax your arms, elbows, hands, and fingers. And as you journey back up, imagine any tension melting away from the back of the neck. Soften your jaw. Relax your forehead. And just breathe. Imagine your body feeling light as a feather. Any weight is being carried by the ground, supporting you so that your body can feel light, floating almost as if on a cloud. Now if you need to stay here for a little bit longer, You are absolutely welcome to do that. If you are ready to move on, bring a little bit of wriggling into your toes and your fingers. Squeeze them, stretch them. You can take a full body stretch if you have room to do so. Or maybe you want to curl into that little ball again. And then when you're ready, either by rolling onto your side or rocking yourself forwards and backwards, you can bring yourself into a seated position. Bring your legs however they feel comfortable for you, whether the legs are crossed or you're kneeling on them or they're extended. Rest your hands on your thighs. Lift through the front of the body, lower through the back. Take a breath in and out. Extend your arms to your sides, turn your palms up, reach overhead as you breathe in. Palms together. Breathe out, send the elbows wide, push your palms tight, and pause in the center of the chest. Let me take a lean forward. You're welcome to do the same. So I can say thank you for your company, your efforts, and your energy, but give yourself a big thank you and well done as well. All right, bye. We'll see you again very soon. Have a wonderful day.